Hi, my name is Jeremy Krochak, and I'm the founder of Axam AI. We're a no-code solution provider helping small and medium-sized businesses adopt machine learning and AI solutions. We're a small team. It's myself and my co-founder, Devin. We're software engineers, and we've spent 20 to 25 years working on applications involving aerospace, automotive, healthcare, and logistics. We take complex problems and we simplify them and roll them out to end user and teams. The solution that we're trying to solve is many companies work out of a view like this, whether it's a spreadsheet or a database. They're searching, sorting, and filtering, trying to find information to solve their business need. What if we could take that information and have a conversation with it? What if we could ask our data a question? Or what if our data could ask us a question? In this case, we have a logistics need where the user has a truck or a semi that isn't completely full. So we've trained a solution where they're giving it some information, it's finding additional pallets and maximizing capacity. It's then creating a route based on location, distance, the weight, rate per mile, and other factors like pickup and drop-off time. Now, we chose logistics because there's currently a driver shortage of over 80,000, and that's projected to grow to 160,000 by the year 2028. Now, we didn't solve the driver shortage with the first example, but we did maximize capacity using planning and prediction. The second part of the problem is the human resource problem. So in this example, the user is asking the system to find drivers to pick up and deliver a particular shipment. So it's the same process. They're having a conversation with the system. And in this case, it's finding the available drivers. And one thing that's interesting about our models is it's injecting confidence into the process. So if we look at the ranking, the distance, and other factors, the user knows this is the best available information. It tells them why, and it allows them to make business decisions much faster. Now, I want to point out that we don't just work with logistics. We work anywhere that we could fit in between supply and demand. So another example of that could be real estate or human resource needs. And the size of that market is projected to be 16 billion by the year 2028. The makeup is roughly 6 million small and medium-sized businesses. Of that, almost 90% do not have a way of implementing these solutions, either with an employee or a contractor. And if they do, the cost to do that is projected at $120,000 per project and roughly taking 10 months to complete. The adoption path for that is fairly clear. They need to hire, build the code or the project, and if the project is successful, they have additional expense to maintain that. What we're proposing is a $49 per user per month fee with a no-code solution, a fractional one-time implementation fee of $5,000, and this scales much faster because we can complete the project in days or weeks instead of months or years. One question that I get asked is security and data ownership. The answer is real simple. The clients own the data. We don't cross-train models and we don't share their information. It's stored in a multi-tenant system and all the data is separate per client. All the models have multiple layers of security. We're SOC 2 compliant, and we have a third-party payment processor, so we don't handle any of the financial information. How we stack up in the marketplace, there's really three groups that we're trying to fit in between. One is the large language models that have been trained on the entire internet. So ChatGPT, for example, Google's Gemini or Anthropic. They're great systems, but they're trained on a lot of information and they're made for very broad applications. If you want to get more specific, we have N8N, Bolt, and Cursor. And those systems require a user to implement those AI solutions for web design, software design, or workflow design. The last one is the jointly trained models or custom trained models. If it's a jointly trained model, you're sharing information with other clients, and that's a security problem for many clients. Or if it's a custom train model, the cost to do that is roughly $10,000 to $15,000 per month to build and maintain. As far as the marketing plan, the first approach is early adopters. So these are companies that can't necessarily afford the large implementation fee of $120,000 plus, or they can't wait for the 10-month development cycle. The goal there is we find clients that fit a particular niche, and we work through the process and provide them a discount on the solution. In return, we get to refine our process and prepare it for scale. The second phase is scaling out to medium and small size businesses, and we wouldn't charge the implementation fee because the system allows them to bring the information in and use the same chat window where they can have a conversation and explain their needs, and that will train the system on what to do. We anticipate $90 per user as a one-time acquisition fee, and the projected revenue is $70 per month per user. Our anticipated cost on that is $5 per user per month. If we look at the financials that were submitted with the business plan, you can see the 3-year numbers here and the growth plan, which is based on 6,000 users by end of year 3. Our goal is to reach 90% net and 40% gross on those margins. And the way we plan to do that is peel back the $5,000 implementation fee and allow clients to scale out themselves. On year 2, I want to point out we expect to be break even. That's when we would hire our first employee. And as we get into year 3, we would anticipate hiring other employees, and the cost at scale reduces quite a bit. We anticipate the cost per user to be about half that. If we look at milestones to date, the project was started in May of this year. We created the first prototype, demoed it to users and got feedback, and we're now in phase 2 of rolling out that project. We're currently interviewing advisors to join the team, and we've secured our first project with Minnesota State University Mankato. In this case, we'll be taking our geographic models and our human resources models, and we'll be combining them to help them review how they're acquiring students through their grant and scholarship program. So allowing them to maximize the dollars that they're putting towards each student and helping retain talent in the region. As far as my asks for the group, we're currently looking at taking that project with the University of Minnesota and turning that into a case study, which would involve creating marketing content like videos, voiceover, ads, running ads, and market research to see which verticals we fit into. We're working on forming the corporation, and we're potentially bringing in investors, so we have some legal challenges that we want to navigate and make sure we set up the business properly. And then lastly is networking. We're looking for 6 to 12 potential clients in this region that would be early adopters that we would visit, work with, and help scale out the process, help them refine their solution, and potentially work with their clients or members of their supply chain. So with that said, thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate your time.